violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, in school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Fuentes is live at NOPD headquarters with the latest on that case.
Kelsey, just being in the neighborhood earlier this morning, neighbors tell me that this was a holiday party turned wrong. It left two 19-year-olds, a man and a woman, shot dead there on the scene. Now,
these holiday parties are horrible, man. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. I've been to some of these, what we call Christmas break kickbacks, and it gets rowdy. You got teens who are geeked up, or, you know, graduates to be who are geeked up, and they're lit. And a lot of these dudes are trying to portray, you know, the street dude, the street guy, the guy who's willing to crash out. Okay, I think Soulja Boy is going viral right now, talking about he's ready to crash out. He's ready to crash out. It's crazy, the mentality.
officers say that it happened at the corner of St. Maurice and North Johnson Street around 12:30 this morning. They say two 18-year-old men were rushed to the hospital and two female victims, one 18 and the other 17, brought themselves to the hospital with wounds from this mass shooting. I did get confirmation from the NOPD and they said that the people sent to the hospital have non-life-threatening injuries. Right now, Crime Stoppers is offering $5,000 cash for anyone with information about the perpetrators. Right now, since this is preliminary, they don't have any information about suspects or suspects tied to this case or a motive right now. And neighbors in the area say that they're concerned about the violence.
I said, well, yeah, we fine. We slept right through everything. But then, you know, it was kind of tragic, you know, to hear that. You know, 19 years old, 17-year-old being shot up like that, you know, just, you know, it's unconscionable. You know, so.
Now, this has been a violent Christmas weekend in New Orleans overall. Since Friday, there have been 6 shootings, 4 deaths, and 8 people wounded. We'll have more on the weekend violence coming up in our evening newscast. But for now, reporting live here at NOPD headquarters, Andres Fuentes, Fox 8, Local First.
Thank you. Friends of the Southern University nursing student killed in a mass shooting remembered her life tonight.
And at this time, we release Courtney's spirit to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Through tears, those who knew and loved Courtney Hughes held a balloon release in Algiers, followed by a second line. The 19-year-old was one of 2 people killed early Monday morning in a shooting that happened while people gathered for a Christmas party in the lower 9th Ward. Hughes was a freshman at Southern University and graduated from Edna Karr High School. Her relatives and friends say the senseless violence in New Orleans needs to stop.
This is a signal of the community saying we got to put community back into everything. Like she said, it takes a village. We all have to support each other. LGS, the West Bank, always have been a community, point blank. This city is a community. So we have to show our leaders how to become a community again.
I mean, it's really hard to say that this is a community because, man, it's just being burned down every single day by gunfire. These super gremlins are on demon time.
The shooting that killed Courtney Hughes also claimed the life of 19-year-old Kyron Peters. 4 others were wounded. Police have not identified any suspects or a possible motive. A wave of violence hits New Orleans with at least 8 separate shootings since 11 yesterday morning. Juveniles are among the victims, with 3 people dead and another 8 injured. Natasha Robin has the latest on the violence.
Plus why some criminologists say they aren't at all surprised by the number of shootings that unfolded in the past 24 hours.
Dang. The criminologists are saying they're not surprised. That's frightening, guys.
In the final days of the year, violence unfolds in nearly every part of the city. In In the past 24 hours, the NOPD investigated multiple shooting scenes that involved nearly a dozen victims. 3 of those victims died. One murder unfolded at Bourbon in Toulouse as crowds of people gathered in the French Quarter ahead of the holiday weekend. A 16-year-old was arrested as the alleged shooter.
Damn.
A woman was shot along with another victim on North Rocheblave.
16-year-old sisters, come get your kids.
And there were at least 2 other locations where 2 victims were injured. According to the Metropolitan Crime Commission, at least 278 homicides occurred so far, making it the highest homicide rate in New Orleans since 1996.
Mayor, can we ask you a question?
What's that? We attempted to ask Mayor LaToya Cantrell about the violence and the highest homicide rate in 26 years, but she would not answer any questions. Criminologists tell Fox 8 what happened in the past 24 hours isn't surprising and follows a similar pattern of what's been going on.
And LaToya Cantrell, she is not saying anything about it. It's absolutely insane. She's just out, man. It's wild, bro.
And while the nation's numbers have gone down since the pandemic, our numbers seem to go up. And we've seen at least 5 to 6 murders every week since the first part of the year. So it hasn't been anything surprising. Although you don't want to see that much rapid murders all in one day, but it certainly fits the pattern we have seen all year long in New Orleans.
So that's going back to the bad old days. And, you know, the homicide rate is not the only problem that we have. You're talking about shootings, you're talking about carjackings, you're talking about armed robberies. All of those are unacceptably high, incrementally higher than what they were as recently as 2019, when we had about 1,300 officers.
The NOPD continues to investigate the most recent crimes, and as usual, they need the public's help. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers. At NOPD headquarters, Natasha Robin, Fox 8, Local First.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe, hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your property.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
over your
more
store.
do you want from me?
First at 5, an Edna Karr student gunned down in California. 16-year-old Thomas Smith Jr. was shot almost 2 weeks ago at a park in Antioch.
So Edna Karr is a high school in New Orleans, and we had a student go out to Cali, and I guess he didn't check in and he didn't make it back, man. This how they doing it. This how they giving it up in Cali. We were warned not to visit. So, you know, you got to think about that. Cali is a third world country at this point.
His mother tells us her son, who they call Paulie, was walking from his aunt's house with a cousin to the park when it happened. Inspire NOLA's CEO released a statement saying, in part, quote, "Once again, we find ourselves at the crossroads of gun violence that has impacted our community and the Inspire NOLA family. Yet again, we have to guide our students through the grieving process." Inspire NOLA says it has lost 3 current students this year and 2 recent graduates to violence.
Who was in that car that shot my son. My son didn't know him. He was a kid. He didn't deserve that. They have ruined my life forever.
Now at 5, heartbroken during the holidays, an East Bay mother sharing her pain after her only son was shot and killed while visiting the Bay Area. 16-year-old Thomas Smith Jr. died 9 days ago in Antioch. He was visiting his family when he was gunned down at a park. Good evening. I'm Julie Haynard.
And that's how it's going down, guys. Exactly like that. Just, they might think you're the ops. They might mistake an identity. Or he might have said something to somebody. Wearing the wrong colors. You never know.
And I'm Christian Kaftan. KTVU's Evan Cernovsky spoke with his mother about her plea for justice. Evan, what is she saying tonight?
Yeah, Christian, Julie, Thomas Smith Jr., whose family called him Paulie, was in the Bay Area from New Orleans visiting his family. Now his mother is grieving and hoping police find her son's killer.
This is the worst Christmas I have ever had. This is worse. I don't wish this on my enemy.
Nakia Banks is back home in New Orleans.
And you know, I don't wish this on my worst enemy is a saying that usually the street dudes say about going to jail. Like, oh, I don't wish that on my worst enemy. I'll rather catch them lacking or, you know, and delete them myself. That's their mentality. So this is what you really wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, because some of these super gremlins need to be locked up. It's the reality. The guys that did this to her only son, her 16-year-old son, they got to get justice, man. The community is silent about it. No snitching rule is in effect. And, you know, I'd be surprised if they end up finding the individuals who did this, man, because it's just so wild out there in LA right now. They ain't getting to nothing, and I'm gonna start focusing on LA come New Year's as well.
After a trip to the Bay Area
well, this is the Bay Area, but Cali in general
turned tragic. She and her 16-year-old son were visiting her sisters in Antioch when on December 17th he was shot dead.
He was a happy kid. He was a typical teenager. He liked to play games. He was a kid. He didn't deserve that. They have ruined my life forever.
Thomas Smith Jr., who they all called Paulie, walked from his aunt's home with his cousin to Williamson Ranch Park around 11:20 that morning. Banks said she was napping when she heard screams that her son had been shot.
When I got out there, the paramedics was working on my son. And I started holding his hand and I started praying with him and I started helping him work on him. But Paulie was gone.
Police are looking for a dark-colored sedan that was seen leaving the parking lot. They believe Smith and his cousin met with the occupants when the shooting happened.
Dang. So, drug deal gone bad? Maybe. That's what it sounds like.
No suspects have been identified or arrested.
Whoever was in that car that shot my son didn't know him. My son didn't do anything. The only thing he did was walk to a park with his cousin.
I mean, he may not have wanted to give it up. You know, there's something behind this. He probably linked to maybe get some gas, which you got dispensaries, so you should just go to the dispensaries out there. Or something, I don't know. Maybe he was copping something. Maybe an online Facebook marketplace transaction, but that's kind of what it sounds like to me.
He didn't deserve that. That was my baby.
Banks described her son as a light-hearted joker who always made her laugh. He played tuba and was passionate about music and art. He danced and liked anime and video games. She's now planning a funeral and working to bring her son's body back home.
That's why I am just so angry. I'm mad. I want justice. I want to see the person locked up. I want anybody that is responsible to be held accountable.
Now, Christian, anyone with information about this case was asked to call Antioch police. Reporting live in the newsroom, Evan Cernovsky, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And Evan, we're hearing that there may be some late-breaking news on this case regarding an arrest in connection with this.
Well, Christian, we had heard early on that police had detained a suspect.
but that person was later released. That turned out to be the decedent's cousin in this case. So police still are asking for anybody with information.
So it looks like they locked up Cuzzo, who was with him. Maybe Cuzzo knows something. Time to talk, bruh. Time to talk.
About this case to call Antioch police.
All right, Evan, thank you very much.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.